So what are we going to cover today in this webinar? First of all, I should say that accompanying these slides will be a handout for you. So I will make reference to that handout on the odd occasion, but don't worry if you don't have it in front of you straight away whilst you're listening to this webinar. You can go back to that handout a bit later on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the background to the SRA's thematic review, and this is what I call the culture cases. This isn't an official term, this is a term that I've given them, and they're cases where firm culture has gone wrong. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you on a journey which explains why we are where we are today, and we're going to start with the culture cases. We're then going to talk about where culture is mentioned in the SRA regulatory framework. We're going to talk about the overview of the SRA's thematic review and findings. It's a really lengthy document and I've read it for you and I've distilled it down. And then we're going to talk about the new code rule itself and SRA workplace environment guidance. And we're going to include in that, we're going to basically break down the rule itself. What does treating colleagues fairly and with respect mean in accordance to the SRA's guidance? What does colleagues mean? What does challenge behaviour mean? And when the SRA will take action. We're then going to, I'll take you through some scenarios. If this was a live session, we would discuss them, but of course this is a recorded webinar, so I'm just going to read the scenario through and then give you my initial thoughts on what I would think about it. But obviously take them back into your firm, and you could even run them in, or something similar, use them as an inspiration to run them as workshops within your own firm. And then finally, we're going to talk about how your firm can take proactive steps to ensure the right culture exists, so that there's a full compliance with the new code rule. And we're going to go through some of the steps, and I'm drawing from my experience at Howard Kennedy, but also drawing from the thematic review and the guidance that the SRA have put out. So what proactive steps can you actually take in your firm to ensure that you're creating a healthy and non-toxic workplace culture? So the first thing to do is to create a speak up culture and potentially what one might call a guardian program. So those are people that anyone can go to raise concerns. So you could have guardians in the firm. Make sure the firm's whistleblowing policy is up to date, communicated, understood, and understand what it is and isn't for. What the whistleblowing isn't for, the guardian program potentially can pick up. Create an equal opportunity policy and anti-bullying policy, anti-discrimination policy, all those other policies that we all need to have. Review what you've got. Undertake pulse surveys where the firm regularly checks in on how people are feeling on an anonymous basis. If you make it not anonymous, then that may hamper people's honesty. Obviously, if you're a very small firm, then it might be difficult to do that. So you need to think about different ways in which you can survey people to ask them how they're feeling.